This week, we're taking a look at the results of the latest slew of regional championship tournaments that concluded this past weekend, as players from all over the world brought all the latest deck technology and innovation they could muster in the Pioneer format to bear in order to claim a coveted spot in the next Magic Pro Tour. First in South America, the 164-player regional championship was taken down by the hottest new deck in Pioneer, Discover Combo. An archetype we covered extensively last week. It appears it wasn't just a flash in the pan, as Discover decks did well in multiple large tournaments last weekend, putting copies into the top 8s of several other regional championships and snatching a win in Chile. Some new innovations to the deck are already popping up, including a couple of torrential gear hulks in the main deck, allowing the pilot to cast Geological Appraiser to discover into Eldritch Evolution as usual, but instead of slamming a trumpeting Carnosaur, they can instead find a Gear Hulk to flash back a massive haymaker like Magma Opus, card filtering and removal in Creative Outburst, or even just a removal spell like Bedeck Bedazzle. As we see this deck get taken more and more seriously by the Pioneer Tournament grinders, it's being honed and perfected into something very scary to behold. With the announcement from Wizards of the Coast this week that there will be a potential ban coming in Pioneer, many players are speculating that this Discover deck may fall to the ban hammer. We'll find out next week what the future may hold for Geological Appraiser and friends. In Canada, we also saw a couple of copies of the Discover Combo deck make it into the top 8 of the 322-player regional championship. But the real story of the tournament was the Izzet Phoenix deck, rising from the ashes of Tier 2 to once again cement itself as a pillar of the Pioneer metagame. Putting a full 5 copies into the top 8, including the eventual winner, proves that the Arclight Phoenix deck is back and a force to be reckoned with. After its decline in popularity earlier this year, many players thought it might be dead. But a strategy like Phoenix can swing from Tier 2 to Tier 1 with the printing of just one innocuous cantrip. In this case, it was Sleight of Hand being reprinted in Wilds of Eldraine. Giving the deck just one more single mana cantrip with card selection was enough to allow the Phoenix deck to rise again. And while all the other Arclight Phoenix decks in the top 8 stuck to blue and red mana, eventual winner Ha Fam went even further, incorporating black into the mana base in order to play powerful one-mana interaction like Fatal Push and Thoughtseize, in addition to the new Lost Caverns of Ixalan removal spell, Bitter Triumph. The ubiquitous Shouldered the Apocalypse shows up here as well to gain plenty of life when combined with all of the deck's card draw, alongside the versatile Picklock Prankster from Wilds of Eldraine, giving the pilot even more card selection as well as an evasive body later. Main deck Graveyard Hate in a single copy of Cling to Dust gives the deck some help against Rakdos Sacrifice or Abzan Greasefang, while the Extinction Event and Ritual of Soot in the sideboard are great black answers to aggressive creature decks. Will this innovative Grixis Phoenix list prove to be the superior version going forward? Only time will tell. Finally, in Japan, we see a diverse top 8 in this 244-player regional championship, with the Discover Combo deck showing up yet again, alongside a couple of copies of Boros Convoke, Azorius Control, Retraction Helix Combo, and eventual winner, Transmogrify. Wow, Transmogrify? That's right, a deck that has been all but forgotten in Pioneer took down the tournament with the help of a few new cards from the last couple of sets. Torch the Tower does great work in the early game in this deck, as there is no shortage of things to sacrifice due to the deck playing a lot of token-making cards to enable its Transmogrify combo. Bitter Triumph is another new removal spell making an appearance here as a solid way to deal with any problematic creatures or planeswalkers one may come across. With a Gigantha the Wellspring acting as a pseudo 8th starting card in the companion slot, as well as a spread of spicy one-of silver bullets in the sideboard, this deck has all the tools it needs to succeed in Pioneer and may see an uptick in play after notching a win here. If you enjoyed cheating in an Atraxa Grand Unifier as early as turn 3, this is the deck for you. One last archetype we should touch on here is the much maligned Azorius Control deck. both the regular and Lotus Field versions, which many players continue to consider Tier 2, while both put multiple copies into the top 8s of several of these regional championship tournaments. Picking up the incredible Lost Caverns of Ixalan removal spell Get Lost gave these decks a massive boost in the early game, which is just what they were lacking. Powerful new tool Kutzil's Flanker is also excellent here, filling a role against both aggro and graveyard decks with just one sideboard slot. With a good matchup against the newly hatched Discover decks, and already boasting a well-tuned core that's been honed and worked on for a while now in Pioneer, this deck may be another excellent choice for your local metagame or a remaining regional championship tournament.